Daniel. That was wonderful. My first question, since you mentioned Mamdani in New York, is do you see the current scenario in New York as an opportunity for socialism to show its true ineffectiveness, harm, and consequences, or do you see it as a first step on a road to more states and as a country tending towards socialism?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think both. So first of all, Mamdani's promising free public transportation, grocery stores funded by the government. He's also promising basically an expansive use of New York City law and government to basically give free items to the citizens. And I think ultimately this is going to end up actually, flipping on its head, because when certain countries like Russia played with this, all people could remember were grocery stores empty in lines like for blocks, miles and miles of blocks. And then because Mamdani has such a good, he has a good voice towards this movement, there's no doubt that this is going to spread into other states, especially states that tend to lean more left. And there are actually a bunch of other governors and senators that are advocating for socialism right now to this day that are not even mentioned in the news. So,
yeah. Daniel, first of all, I wanted to say that your paper was extremely condensed. Dense. It was great. It was well written. You covered the arguments well. You tackled a seriously difficult issue. I appreciated the way you clearly had sections in your arguments, the economy, the understanding, the foundations of socialism, and that just helped me follow what you were actually trying to get through there. I suppose my question to you is, do you think that the issue at hand is socialism as a principle, or is it the people that implement socialism that's the problem?
Okay. Yeah, so there's a lot of refutation about this where people say it's not socialism's fault that it's causing problems, it's the people's fault that it's causing problems. And actually it's really both, because first of all, humans make mistakes, and socialism envisions where all people own the means of production, right? But that's impossible, so they elevate someone over to basically manage economic decisions, and that's why we've seen dictators like Stalin, for example, Maduro, they ended up taking control of the means of production and making the problem worse. Another thing is the ideology at hand is also what's incredibly false, because it fails both on paper with statistics, like it's never worked, and no one is willing to even live out socialism if we ask them to in this country as a whole. And it's also a failure on a moral breakdown and philosophical breakdown.
Good job. It was it really was. I enjoyed reading it. I did read it. People don't think I read it, but it's fine. Okay, you mentioned that capitalism has taken billions of people out of poverty.
Yes.
Right? So in your research, did you find any examples of countries or communities that had abandoned socialism for capitalism and then experienced social and economic benefit?
Ooh, okay, that is a very, very good question. So Europe, for example, Europe tried to play around with socialism after it fell apart, or at least after they saw Russia fall apart. And these European nations attempted to implement socialism on a scale. And what happened was they started breaking down, and the effects are not just like present, they're also in the future. Like they have certain gaps in the health system, the economic system, and economic consequences in the future. And a lot of these countries, like for example, Sweden and Norway, they ended up backing out of socialism, and they've actually seen, they're on the chart or on the track of basically revamping their economy after they fell apart, because Sweden was actually a decent economic country, and then it fell to like 16th in Europe after it implemented some socialism. And another thing that I see is socialism is trying to implement values of private property and free market systems with it to help it work, and even that's not working at all.
Follow-up. You mentioned